Hey guys, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Now, for the last couple of hours, there has been lots of mixed reaction on the video released by the Conservative Party, and this is, the leader of the Conservative Party sharing what the party's plan is on immigration and what they plan to, propose to ensure that, the number of net migration figures here in the United Kingdom reduced to the barest minimum. And I mean, looking through the social media platforms, we've seen different people reacting differently, to this announcement and how some of these proposed changes, if implemented, how would it affect the life of immigrants living, and working tirelessly here in the United Kingdom. So, as immigrants like yourself and myself, we actually do need to have conversations about how would this, proposed measures affect our lives and what is the impact on, people's plan to gain indefinite leave to remain in the United Kingdom. Now, this particular review is going to be unbiased, unemotional. I'm just going to state the facts and see how we can actually relate to some of the proposed measures and what we should be planning to do. And just last night, the leader of the Conservative Party, granted an interview. I think last night, and I'll be sharing the video towards the end of this video. She actually explained what she meant by some of the um, list of different proposed measures that she put forward in the video. And we're going to have a detailed chat about what my thoughts are. And you can also share your thoughts with us in the comment section. And if you're coming across the channel for the first time, do also hit on the subscribe button to join the amazing family. And by turn subscriber figures are amazing. So without further ado, let's get right into the video. To be honest with you, personally, I think taking emotions away from the whole situation, I think some of the points she mentioned were actually valid. However, two to three of the points she mentioned were absolutely ridiculous. I mean, and this is coming from an immigrant, who have worked tirelessly, paid tax, done a whole lot of, contribution to the UK economy, and being put under that kind of situation is absolutely ridiculous. And I think it's really, really unfair. Now let's have a look at the list of the things she mentioned, the party is planning to do to help cut down net migration. Now, the first one, which I think is absolutely ridiculous, was the fact that she's planning to increase the number of years it takes to get indefinite leave to remain from 5 years to 10 years. I mean, now let's even come to think about it. Even the 5 years is a whole lot. I mean, investing 5 years of your life to working in a country, you're paying tax, you're paying, I mean, if my monthly outgoings is absolutely ridiculous. You pay council tax. If you have a car, you pay insurance, you pay road tax. If you obviously you need to pay rent because you're going to live somewhere. You have lots of things that you're paying for. I mean, about 70 to 80% of your salary is going on monthly bills. You're doing that for 5 years, hoping to finally get indefinite leave to remain. Now, without putting into consideration the cost of applying for visas, now imagine you having to renew that skilled worker visa for the next 10 years. That's absolutely ridiculous. And even gets more difficult if you've got family. So imagine you've got a family of five and you're required to renew. So it means that if you're going to be on a visa for 10 years before you can apply for indefinite leave to remain, you potentially renew your visa 4 times in the space of the 10 years. So that's if your employer gives you a 3 years visa. So you need to renew the skilled worker visa 4 times. And if you're a family of five, you need a skilled worker visa for a 3 year, time frame will probably cost you roughly about, if you're a family of five, so that's about 3 grand per person. So that's about £15,000 excluding visa fee. So in total with visa fee, it means that it's probably going to cost you about, close to about £20,000 on every 3 years renewal. So if you're doing that for 4 times, I mean, before you can get indefinitely to remain, you potentially spend about £70,000 to £80,000 before you can get ILR. And I mean, that's excluding all of the monthly outgoings that comes with you living and working in the UK. That's absolutely ridiculous. And I think trying to increase the time from 5 years to 10 years is just insane. It doesn't really make any sense in any way. I mean, there's no way you're going to look at it. It just doesn't make any sense. Now, another point she mentioned was that only net contributors can apply and criminal are banned. Now, this is for indefinite leave to remain. In as much as I think that's the valid point, but I also think, you know, our focus is majorly on illegal immigrants. However, she's still trying to like extend her plans to affect those that are legal immigrants. So if you're planning that, oh, anybody who who is not a net contributor, probably getting more from the country than you contribute, you shouldn't get ILR. That's a valid point. However, how does that have to relate to those who are here legally working on a work visa, paying the tax, paying everything they have to pay to live here, and you still want to increase, double the number of years it's going to take them. The 5 years in the service is even long. Not adding, another 5 years to it, it just doesn't make any sense. Now, the third point she made was that benefits, those who claim benefits are not eligible for applying for ILR. So, which makes sense in a way. So she's saying that if you, for any reason, get access to benefits, you can apply for ILR, which doesn't really apply to those who are in the UK on the skilled worker visa or in any kind of work visa. So we don't have access. It's clearly written on our, on our BRP that no recourse to public funds. So we don't have access to any kind of public fund. So the whole idea of, as I said earlier, she's trying to focus majorly on illegal immigrants. But I'm not sure she has full understanding of the way the whole thing works. But anyway, that's the whole idea. So if you ever claim any benefits, the Conservative Party is planning to make sure that you're able to apply for indefinite leave to remain. And this is another point I think is absolutely ridiculous. Now, the plan to increase the number of years it takes to get your British citizenship, as of today, it is 12 months. And she's planning to make sure that you can, so to get your ILR, it takes you another 1 year before you can apply for British citizenship. So the plan now is that you need to actually be on your ILR for another 5 years before you can apply for your British passport. Like it just doesn't make any sense. So after spending 10 years waiting to get your ILR, you then need to wait another 5 years for you to then apply for British citizenship. Now, how many years does it even take to get integrated into a system or a culture or a way of life? And a plan basically is, from the video she mentioned categorically, that you need to actually spend 15 years before you can even apply for your British citizenship, which in my opinion, I think is just insane. It just doesn't make any absolute sense in any way. There's no way you can explain it. It just doesn't make any sense. Having to wait additional 5 years before you can actually get your British citizenship. Now, the last thing she mentioned in the video was that illegal immigrants and those who overstay should never be allowed to apply for, indefinite leave to remain. Now, at the moment, if you are an illegal immigrant or you overstay your visa, there's actually a duration you can stay that you become eligible, to apply for indefinite leave to remain. Now, a plan basically is, if you for whatever reason overstayed or for whatever reason moved into the UK illegally, you can never be able to apply for indefinite leave to remain, which I think is a mean way of looking at things, but also a valid point, based on the whole cost implication of the country taking care of those who move and come into the UK illegally. So yeah, that's really the plan of the Conservative Party. And if they get into power, the chances of some of this being implemented is high. But what do you think? The Labour Party is the one in power at the moment. Is there any foreseeable future of the Conservative Party getting in power? And will the leader of the current Conservative Party become the new Prime Minister? And will she even be able to actually implement some of these callous, mean, policies that are actually being proposed? So you can share your thoughts with us in the comment section. And I want you to watch this video of the interview she granted just last night.
What we are showing is we've done the thinking behind saying we're just going to cut immigration. And the policy about changing the rules around getting citizenship and leave to remain is a sign that we have thought through and worked up a proper plan that will make a difference.
Well, let's talk about that plan, because a lot of it is about the net benefit a migrant has to the economy. How will you measure how much migrants are benefiting the economy? And doesn't this just favour the rich?
No, it doesn't. What we're trying to do is make sure that we don't create pull factors onto our welfare state. It's very good when we have people coming to our country, working hard and contributing. But if they need to have benefits, if they need social housing, then they're not net contributors to our economy. They are net recipients. And that makes everybody poorer, because it means other people are having to work harder to pay for migrants' housing and benefits and so on. We need people coming to this country to be adding to our growth and productivity and to our society, not being net recipients of benefits.
Have you been bounced into this announcement by the rise of reform, and how concerned are you by their popularity in the country at the moment?
Well, I first talked about this plan in November. I made a speech a couple of weeks after being elected leader, and I said there would be more to come. We talked about having a hard cap on visas in law. That was the announcement in November. We've taken some time to look at this policy. And one of the things that is important is that Labour is bringing a bill next week about immigration that's actually going to take the country backwards. They're going to make it easier for illegal migrants to get citizenship. That's terrible. And we are the opposition now. The country's given us a job to hold the government to account. I need to be an effective opposition leader, making sure we steer the government on the right course as part of that.
But just on that second point, how concerned are you about the rise of Reform? They would say they're the real opposition at the moment.
Yes, Reform has 5 MPs. The Liberal Democrats have 70. We have 120.
But they're rising in the polls, you'd admit that.
I remember when the SDP was at 50% in the polls. What I'm trying to show people is that we are doing the real thinking, looking at legislation line by line, making sure that what becomes law in this country is what's good for the public. We don't have the 400 plus MPs that Labour has, but we are doing the thinking that's going to make people's lives better.
Let me just move on to the economy. The Bank of England.
I hope you find this video informative. If you have any thoughts, state those thoughts in the comment section. And if you're coming across my channel for the first time, do also hit on the subscribe button to join the amazing growing family. And my returning subscribers, thank you guys for being here. I really do appreciate you guys. So this will be the end of the video, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you.